Hello, my name is Kyle Landers, and we're going to be talking about the National Collegiate Athletic Association, which is also the NCAA, and the scholarships that they provide and paying athletes as well. Who is the NCAA? They consist of over 1,000 colleges and universities with 100 athletic conferences and more college organizations that are also affiliated with them as well. It also consists of over 50,000 athletes. The scholarships provided by the NCAA, first of all, scholarships for men's equals women's. So, however many that are provided for the men's, the same number is equal for women's. It is just spread across different sports differently. There's also 6 headcount sports. Football and men's and women's basketball are a few of them. First thing I want to point out is, which is stands out to me drastically, is, for example, baseball. They have 11.7 scholarships, and on their roster, they have 35 athletes. So it is almost triple the number of athletes on their active roster than their scholarships they are provided. And this isn't because they don't have the money. It is because the NCAA, in their rules and how they organize scholarships, only allows them to have 11.7. As you can see on the women's, most sports have a larger scholarship number than the men's. This is because football carries most all of the scholarships, and it carries all of the scholarships for the men's side, and they have to equal it for the women's as well. Facts about scholarships. As you can see here, the average college tuition is a little over $20,000 a year. Now, if you look at the average athletic scholarship, it is only $10,000. So this still means, even with athletes having scholarships, does not always mean it pays for their whole school tuition and fees. This is a big deal because athletes put in a lot of work for their school and their athletic program, and they make their school and athletic program money. But at the same time, they're still not getting rewarded for all the time they put in for their school being paid for. This is big, and again, there's 6 sports that have full rides for every roster spot. Here's an example of what a college athlete week looks like compared to a working student. These are just averages based on surveys, and you can see that what really stands out is the free time that athletes have compared to working students. 40 hours for athletes, 62 hours for students. As an athlete myself, I can say that 40 hours is a generous amount because I may be spending that either with academics, athletics, or honestly getting more sleep, because 56 hours is a generous amount as well. That's 8 hours a day. Not very many athletes actually get 8 hours of sleep every single day because they're either getting more work in on their sport or in academics. And a survey done last year shows that football players have 43 hours that they spend per week in season on just football. Baseball players, 42.1. Back to baseball. Baseball spends the second most amount of hours per week in season on their sport, but only a third of athletes, or a third of scholarships, correlate with the amount of people on their roster. Why should the NCAA repay their players? First of all, here's an example of the athletic department from the largest 10 revenues in the country compared what their revenues compared to their expenses they spend on scholarships. So in the 10 largest, you have $144 million in average compared to their a little over 12 million on expenses they spend on giving to their athletes for school. This is not all the athletic department's fault on what they spend on athletic scholarships. This goes back to the NCAA for not changing the rules to allow colleges to spend more money on their athletes and allow them to put that money towards their school that they are paying for, because this is a big deal that athletes tend to work two jobs almost between academics and their athletic program. And the fact that they're working two jobs and still aren't getting rewarded for that, for the money they give back in their performances to their athletic department in school, is a bad look for the NCAA. And the NCAA is a nonprofit organization, but they also reported over $1 billion in revenue just off of the NCAA March Madness tournament. And you don't see much or any of that revenue going back into the schools. As part of this, I want to bring awareness to people, see what is going on for athletes in the collegiate level. And the way I want to go about this is bring awareness to people. And I know as an athlete, college athletes are already speaking up towards the NCAA about we need more scholarships, we need to be more funded. And I want students and faculty and parents of future college athletes to speak up to the NCAA about getting more money or being allowed for colleges to give their athletes more money. And just bringing up awareness and being vocal about it will go a long ways in this journey to providing more for